1870s site. It was a school. Give you a little view here. Try to keep this slower because I've noticed in the past when I'm doing this that I'm zipping all over the place and it doesn't give you hardly any time to focus. But anyways, I'm out here today with Deus, and I was going to go over, I have permission to hunt that farm right there. It's kind of saving that for the summertime when everything's planted. So I drove in there and I happened to look over at this field which the gentleman also owns, and I noticed he just plowed it. So I pulled an eagle button out of here and a few Indian head pennies and stuff, toe taps, things like that. So got a little age to it. Figured I'd give it a go since it's nice and plowed, nice and smooth. But today I'm going to be running the Deus with the 11-inch coil, WS4 package, what I have with the backbones. I typically run in GMP, 18 kilohertz. I bump around the settings a little bit as far as reactivity and silencer. This particular site, I'm probably going to keep the reactivity at around 2 and run the silencer at also around 1 or 2, depending on how much iron I'm running into and how deep. I haven't been finding a lot of deep targets here, so I kind of like the silencer more bumped up, or telling the difference between iron and whatnot. I find when I turn the silencer off, I dig a lot more iron. So anyways, I'll get going here and get back with you. I'll try to keep the digs fairly short. I know a lot of people want to see the VDIs in the machine, but this has that typical milky cover on it, so it's really hard to see. So what I'm going to do is just kind of call them out as I see them. You know what the VDIs are. I'm probably going to be selling this pretty soon. I really like it, but I want to get something that has multiple coils. So, and as far as I had heard from Deus themselves, they're not going to be coming out with their shooter coil for another year. So when they come out with that one, then I'll probably buy another Deus. But in the meantime, I'm going to probably look at a Nocta or something like that. But anyway, so I'll just be calling out the VDIs and going from there. But I'll try to keep it trimmed down because my internet's horrible and it's hard to upload this stuff. So all right, I'll get back to it. Okay, looks like 63 to 70. I ended up taking the cover off that covers because it's just so milky. I needed to wash it. It had some dirt in there, so you can see a little bit. Looks like I don't know what that is. First I was going to say a bullet casing, but almost like a thimble, but it's way small. This was a school site, so I guess it could be something school related, maybe just a cap on something. It's between 40s and 50s. I don't think it's near as deep as I just scooped, but one thing I found with the Deus here in this field, it's all fluffed up. The guy done a really nice job smoothing it out and everything. It's just like when you're digging with the Deus and you have that air gap and things disappear. I'm kind of finding it here in this field with all the extra air. I mean, you could just see how smooth and how fluffy this is. It's got so much air puffed into here. It's the Deus just really isn't liking it a whole lot. I mean, if I get a good solid signal, quarter size or whatever, it's going to hit it pretty hard. But these little tiny bits and pieces that I usually find in a field that's not been plowed just aren't showing up as good. So that's one of the detriments I found with this Deus so far with this type of field hunting. It's probably not anything that's superb, but just from the VDI I could tell it just wasn't, it's probably just something small, but it's still a concern. See, it's completely gone now. I don't know where it's at. Okay, here's what I ended up finding. It's a piece of a square nail, and this was what was giving me the good target sound. I'm pretty familiar with the Deus to know, whether it's going to be ferrous or non-ferrous. And you know, sometimes with whether it's a can or a coin, but that should have been easily picked up because it was laying right over here, and I should have easily picked that up with the Deus scanning across, but it's just, there's so much fluff in the soil that it's just not picking it up. So there again, that's just one of the things. I love the Deus. I think it's a great detector, but this is one of its downfalls that I am not impressed with, is you get any kind of air gap in there or any kind of air in the soil, and the Deus kind of tends to fall on its face. So just one of my observations, whether or not other people notice it or not, or you know, I've noticed it with both. I had this is an 11-inch coil. I've had it with my other Deus. They had the 9-inch coil on it, same issues. But you know, not a deal breaker per se, but something that obviously could use some improvement. So okay, 70, 71. So it's just right on top. Trash. Looks like more and more what I'm finding here. I found a few good targets out here in the past, but I'm hoping the plow would smooth out some of this. I get some better searching in, but I might end up back over at that house yet tonight. We'll see. Alright, this one's kind of a mixed signal. Good sounding 70s there. Some iron. So it could just be laying next to a nail, or it could just be a nail. Notice it wouldn't come up until I stepped on that and pack it down a little bit. And it starts popping up there. Scrap. Finding a lot of scrap. It's supposed to get rain in the next few days here straight, so I might be moving. Just running out of time, so I'll go over and see if I can find some goodies at the big house. Field site wasn't producing a whole lot, and I'm kind of running out of patience and time, so I'll go back and definitely hit that, because I pulled buttons and relics and stuff out of there, so it's definitely a good site, but it's just when your time's limited, you know, what do you do? Right where that junk pile is was actually the cabin site, which kind of sucks, but I can hunt around it. I have this whole area to cover. It's quite a bit, and it goes on. I know I'm probably turning too fast, but tons of outbuildings, so obviously you're gonna have tons of iron junk and things of that nature. Right over there by that little house was a blacksmith shop. Little rundown on the property. All right, first target. 50s to 70s, kind of bouncing. 80s that way. Back to 60s. And it's going anywhere from almost all the way down on the meter to halfway up. So I'll pop this up and see what we find. Also, just so you folks know, I know a lot of people cringe when they see the shovel. I've talked with this farmer here about this, and in fact, I'll walk over here. He has no problems with it, and I've dug probably 15 to 20 holes right here, and you can see a little bit of a spot there, a little bit of a spot here. I didn't do that. That's from critters. I can actually make a neater and a cleaner setup with something like this in my lesh when you're digging deep. Obviously, if you're in a park or something and you're popping coins, you're not going to have this. Just for the look alone, it's going to be, you know, turns a lot of people off. But I definitely hear something right there. That's iron. So anyways, I just wanted to clear that up because, you know, a lot of people are, you know, they frown on seeing these shovels and that's fine. In most of the places that I go to, if I'm at a house site like this, I won't use it. But I've got a pretty good relationship with this gentleman here, and he actually came out and asked me one day. He's like, "Why aren't you using that shovel there?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, you know." And so yeah, it worked out good for me, especially over here, because there's a lot of good targets under that tree, and those pine trees are horrible with roots. So nice to have that bigger shovel there to chop through them. But anyways, okay, I'll get back with you on this target. All right, in the bottom of the plug. Right, straight down. Oh, it's going. What is it? Look at that. That looks like a shield nickel. I think it is. Looks like a shield nickel to me. Awesome. Very first dig. I can't get a year yet. You can see the shield just briefly on there, but beautiful on that side. The coins come out of here really nice. Love these. I think this is the third or fourth one I've ever dug, so I always like digging these older ones. All right, that's a better start than that field. I'll get back with you. All right, one more thing I wanted to show. That hole where I just dug that shield nickel was right there. And you know, once like I said, we're gonna get a rain here tomorrow and next day, probably through Wednesday. You won't even, once the rain hits that, I mean, I got a little bit of dirt over here. I'm not using a towel or anything down there to get all the dirt back in, but there again, like I said, the farmer's not too concerned. So, but just to show you. Okay, 81 to 86 there. Iron, trying to pop through every now and then. 79 to 88. Not very deep. Hey, this one went the other way around. This could be just that iron piece, though. A piece of chain. Let's see if there's anything else in there. Could have just been that chain. Alright, I'll get back with you, see if there's anything good. Alright, I got the target out next to the chain. So, maybe. Oh, there it is. Rivet or nail or whatever you want to call it. It's brass, so that's not too shabby. It's probably about like that in the hole, and we were probably 4 or 5 inches. So cool. Typical for the Deus separation. Okay, 88 to 90s. Well, let's see what it is. What do we got? It's iron. That's kind of different. It's iron though, but the Deus likes iron, so when it's the round, semi-round. But alright. Okay, got more down in the hole yet. See what it is. Oh. Some type of strap. Some rivets. It's old. Alright, cool. And that was obviously underneath the bolt or nut. So that's a good sign. It's right underneath. I don't know where we're at. Not very deep. 6.5, 7 inches, something like that. Cool. Okay, this was kind of a patchy signal, so I didn't record it. It was bouncing around between 50s and 80s. Just popped it out of the hole. Not quite sure what all this stuff is, but it looks pretty old. Look, see if there's like a earring or funky bracelet. I have no idea. It's still just, it looks like just coated stuff. I mean, it doesn't feel expensive, but it's pretty cool. I like the design. It's really cool. It's definitely older. But I'll clean it up. If it turns out to be anything cool, I'll post it on the end of the video. But I like that. That's kind of cool. But just never know what you're going to pop out of the ground. Like I said, I didn't really think much of it because it was just kind of a real crappy, bouncy signal. But you can see why. I mean, just all that sitting down there. But that's cool though. It'd be interesting to look it up and see what style and see if I can get a name off it or anything. It's probably just costume stuff, but that just feels real cheesy. But alright, I'll keep going. Sun's getting low. Alright. Nice clean 70 signal. 4 inches down or so. Alright. See it down there. Lantern part. These things are so cool. I half believe I could track down enough of these parts, dig them out of the ground, and make my own lantern. That's how good a lot of these come out of the ground, still functioning. Has a name on it there. Pretty neat. 70s, 80s, weak, stronger, 70s, fairly deep. Let's see what comes out. Okay, dug down probably about 9 inches. And I've already dug one of these before at this site. Looks like the same one. Well, matching. Some kind of suspender type clip or something. I would imagine some type of clip. That just is crazy. Comes out of the ground, folds, functions. Cool. 9 inches down. Pretty good. You can see the little catches there for the fabric, for a suspender or whatever. Alright, just pop this one out if you can see it. It was, I don't know, 7 inches or so. Like another type of suspender type clip. Hopefully you can see that. It's pretty cool. Has some neat design on it. But getting dark on me. Kind of hard to see. Alright. I'll take it. Alright. Funky signal here. I can hear the iron in it. Maybe it's all iron. It's bouncing between 60s and 90s. There's the iron. something else down below it. Cool. Iron below iron, I'd say. It's pretty cool though. Old spike. Pretty sweet.